My house has these veneer stone over top of the block wall. Had a large planter here that was falling apart. I tore it down. I've looked for some stone that matches anywhere close. Nothing. I thought about replacing the stone on the whole house, but really didn't want to spend that kind of money. So my plan is, as you can see, I've snapped some lines there. I'm going to cut some cement board, and I'm going to Tapcon that onto the block, and then I'm going to attempt to plaster over that with mortar or a Portland-based cement and fashion my own stone, because we're going to paint the stone on the house. So that's the beginning right there. Okay, I fastened a few pieces of cement board on here. I'm just going to try a small area, see how it works out, see if I can make it work the way I want it to work. I used the cement board only because I thought the stone might adhere better to that than to the block wall, but I may change my strategy after I do a little bit and see how it turns out. Alright, I tried a mortar-based product and it's just not sticky enough, so I am going to find something else. My concept was working pretty good, except I can't get it to bond to the cement board. It just wants to fall off. So I'm thinking about using a modified thin set mortar that has adhesives in it. See if that works any better. Alright, so after my mortar that I used dried, it actually adhered really well to the cement board. But I'm going a different direction. I'm taking that all off. I'm going to put metal lath on there, put a scratch coat of mortar over the lath. As you can see, I tore everything off that I had previously done. Not that it was that much. But now I've added this metal lath. I've Tapconned it to the wall. And I'm either going to put a scratch coat over that, haven't decided yet, or do my molding of my stone right over that. I haven't quite decided. So, okay, here was my second attempt. I used a thin set mortar over top of the metal lath, put a little form on there. Problem with the thin set mortar is it just doesn't set up very fast, and I couldn't hold, it wanted to slide out of the form there, so I didn't get it built up as much as I wanted. But actually, after it's set up really tight, and I planned on using a little concrete edger to round the corners off and then go back and make my mortar joints, but that didn't work because I couldn't use the edger on the thin set. So down here on the rest of this, I'm going to try the regular mortar again and go from there. Alright, so I've changed my strategy a little bit again. After I was forming up that bottom one, it was just going to take too long to do all that in between there and waiting for it to set up. So this section right above the stuff that I finished on that bottom row, I plastered that on, and then I took my level and just cut my mortar joints in there. Now I'm going to top that with the thin set mortar when it sets up a little tighter, kind of put a little design in it the best I can. But I don't know, it's filling in kind of good. We'll have to see. So as you can see, I've done a little more. It's working out pretty good. Those top ones there, the darker color or the gray colored ones, are kind of like a template now, and I'm going to plaster over them with the thin set mortar like you see on the bottom row. Alright, here's another shot. I found the best way to do it is put about a half-inch base coat on there, scratching the mortar joints the way you want them to look, and then we're going to go back and, as I said before, top coat over with some thin set mortar, seal it up. Okay, I wanted to show you how to cut the mortar joints into your forms that you're doing on your wall. After it starts setting up, your base coat, your scratch coat, just take a trowel like this, your level, and you can just cut along there like that. You see, I've already cut a couple of these. So just scratch that in. And if it's a little too soft, just scratch it and leave it. See, it'll kind of slice through there. It's a little bit softer in the middle there. This tile here I'm going to make bigger, like this one, but the other ones you can kind of divide up anyway, kind of make them blend in with the rest. So after you scratch that in, like here, I have enough distance here, I don't really need to cut that out, but you'll see once you scratch that in, that'll pop out of there. You can kind of clean it up with your trowel a little bit. So that just pops out. Just have to wait till it's dry enough to pop out. Just take it, flip it. And those don't have to be perfect because you're gonna fill back in with your topping over top of those anyway. It's a little wet right here yet. You can see how it doesn't want to pop out quite the same. So you want to leave that set up a little bit more before you but then you can decide where you want your stone. This one I'm gonna just divide up like this. Take your trowel, cut down through there, and then just pop that out of there. That'll give you your shape for your when you go to put your finish coat on there. Like I said, they don't have to be perfect because you're gonna put topping on it. Just kind of gives you a guideline to go by later. So I want to make this one about this size. You can see that it's still too wet. I'm gonna leave that set a little bit. You can see how it starts to sag a little bit right here. Okay, so far this project's been evolving as we go, but my new finish, the way I'm doing it, is after I got my molds on here, as we've seen before, now I'm going back and filling the mortar joints with the topping first before I coat this part. So you just fill those joints in, squash it in there good, mash it in there, scrape it off, let it set up a little bit, and then after it sets up, just take your finger like you were running grout or something, or caulking, and make your mortar joint with the finger, like so. That'll fill that cavity in there where you don't have to go back later and try to fill that in. That's the problem I was having down at the other end. I was trying to do it all at once, and it was a little too difficult that way. So I found this is the best way. And like with this whole project, like I said, this keeps evolving. You don't have to worry if you get some of this stuff on here afterwards, that'll scrape right off after it dries before you top out the rest of it. So it doesn't hurt a thing. After that dries, then you can go back over this part and kind of like frosting a cake, you know what I mean? And kind of put your design in there. I'm hoping I'm going to take my my air tool and now my phone's ringing. Alrighty then. I got most everything filled in now. I have a little bit more to second coat, but it's starting to fill in pretty good. I picked up 4 gallons of paint for my wall. Didn't need 4 gallons, but the flat at my local PPG store only comes in gallons. They can't mix it in quarts. You can see we grabbed 4 different colors that were predominant in that wall. We're going to put this color on as a base coat, and then we're going to blend these other ones in on some of those stone, see what it looks like. As you can see, I painted my base color on here yesterday. I think it's going to work out really well. Dried nice and flat, just how I wanted it color wise, so we're going to start adding some other colors to it. Just a little update. I got all 4 of my colors out. I'm putting some on straight. I'm mixing some with others. I'm starting to blend them in, going back and forth, and about 50% done, so I guess, with that section. Well, there it is. I'm not sure, I may do a little extra touch up yet, but for the most part I blended it in the best I can, and it's not quite dry yet, so it's probably gonna look a little bit different when it dries. It gets some of that shine off of there. But anyway, there you go. Hope you learned something that you can use.